Good.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're live. Yeah, we're
Right, well, welcome to MWNR Nature Reserve Committee, and I think the only chairman's comments are going to be is when Cameron goes through the reports and everything, it'd be very interesting to note any impact of the rain that he's noticed. We'll come to that later.
Impact of
The rain.
the rain.
Huge amounts of rain, which never seems to stop. Anyway, moving on. Apologies for absence received. We have
apologies from Councillor Morehouse, he has a personal commitment, and the same from Councillor Pennington, also has a personal commitment.
Thank you very much. Now, start off with declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interests from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda. I don't think we'll have anything there. No? And then in that case, minutes. To receive and approve the minutes of the MWNR Nature Reserve Committee held on the 24th of September, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. So those are in our pack of attachments. Do we have any comments?
Yeah, sorry, there were some small errors in the minutes, which I didn't pick up on, so if you wouldn't just something out. On page 2, the minutes of the September meeting, near the top type, not the top line, but second paragraph down, the fence and gate next to where it says water, that should be marina. Fence and gate next to the marina needed to be repaired.
Okay.
And then a bit further down in that same section, the bit where it says the warden offered to start the process of applying for the planning application. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down, it says, based on his work at Monk's Wall, that should be at Sandwich Bay Bird Observatory. That's where I did a previous planning application. And then the last line of that section, where it says birdhouse, should be bird hide.
Okay.
That's a birdhouse.
Yes.
Bird hide is fingers going to be painted.
Because I did note that
Those are
the other comment that you raised, I think has been corrected, was with regard to quotes.
yes,
Which have been decided
quotes for the scrape and the bird hide.
Yeah. The bird hides, yeah. And I think we're okay if we can I have somebody to propose acceptance. And that's Councillor Ripley and Councillor Franklin seconding, I think. Yes, we just vote on that. Three. But we are pro-rate.
Yeah, I checked before I.
Right, okay then. And I'll do some signing in a moment.
You actually need to do it.
I need to do it
Yeah,
straight.
and that's, you're being super.
Yeah.
That's how you should be doing it.
Proper.
That just need to initial the pages and then sign it in. Also means we don't get backlogs. Thank you very much.
Super, thank you. Right, and if we go on to number 4, public participation. I don't think we've got anybody here, but a 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect to the business on the agenda. Do we have anybody? No, we don't. So I won't go and say the rest. Number 5, report from the MWNR Nature Reserve Warden. Members to receive a report from the MWNR Nature Reserve Warden that spans the period from the end of mid-September, when we had our last meeting, to end of November. Members are invited to receive the report. And over to you, Ken.
Right. Thank you, Chair. This might be a little bit confusing because my list of items in my report may not necessarily follow the same order as on the agenda, but if I just launch into it and see what we can cover. If we miss anything, we'll have to go back and do them at the end. I'll just try and pick up on some of the points based on my warden's report. Item B, the management notes. I listed there the items that were scheduled for this autumn, according to the management plan, which was agreed back in May. And I've said at the bottom there, only item G has been progressed so far. That was as of a week or so ago when I wrote this paper. And of course, things have changed since then. And things have, several of those items have now been progressed and are actually happening at pace. Item 2 at the bottom of that page, just above the photograph, this is the footpath leading onto the reserve from the Stomach end. It was getting very overgrown on each side of brambles. So I spent a good many hours over several weeks manually clearing it back. Good exercise, and a little bit at a time. So that's now done, and it looks a lot better along there now, as shown in the photo with some of the tools I used. And then over the page, on page 2, is an item following on from that, also to do with invading scrub. And the reason that this surfaced was that middle of October, I met up with Roger Dunn, our grazier, who keeps his cattle on the reserve through the summer months. And he was taking them off the reserve for the winter when I met up with him and his team. And he gestured, with like a thumb towards the field, which on your map that I've supplied everybody with, it's fields 4A, 4B, and 4C, what we call the Monksway fields. And I knew what he was going to say, and it was words to the effect, when are you going to get that field restored to grass? Because it was totally getting invaded with bramble and things. And if you look at the top photograph on this other sheet, you'll see what we're talking about. Those 4 fields there, the Monksway fields, 4A, 4B, 4C, should be meadow. In other words, they should be like on the right-hand side of the photo. The last time they were actually mowed down was when this photograph was taken in December 2017, which is why on this photo it shows up as so pale. It had just been done. And he's right, it is getting invaded with bramble and hawthorn and various other bits and pieces, and it's reducing the amount of land that's available for his cattle to graze. Now, since he pays us a grazing fee, I think he was within his rights to query that he's actually paying for something which he's not getting. So, to show willing, I started again manually clearing some of the bramble and hawthorn there, but it's obviously a ludicrous job for one person to do. And after about an hour and a half of slashing brambles and things, and I've had enough. So I do think that that colleagues may have to consider whether we want to actually go ahead and I mean, it was scheduled to be done, I think, this autumn anyway, to be known. And then we put it on the back burner because of the other things that were going on. Shall I stop there for a second?
Yeah.
Take that
I'm looking
forward
at
and
the
raise
picture
any
of
issues.
the machine.
A machine, yeah.
Yeah,
Scrub
that,
cutter,
that is the mulching machine, I
a
guess,
mulching machine,
which goes and just
yeah.
does everything.
About £500 a day.
Would a day do it?
2 days would certainly do it.
How much was it a day?
About £500.
A day.
I've had a quote, so I jumping the gun here. I happened to mention this to one of the MRF contractors who've been on site on a different part of the reserve this week. And I didn't actually ask him for a quote. I just happened to say roughly how much would it cost. And then this morning I had a detailed email from him saying exactly how much it would cost to hire or with one of their operatives a machine to do that job. And it is £581.86, including VAT.
Per day, so that's times 2.
That's all inclusive for 1 day. The weekly hire for the machine is £935.
Oh.
Oh.
But he's costed it down to 187 for the day. And then there are other things like, delivery charge of getting the machine here and
Right.
the cost of diesel and
Yeah.
and then the driver.
Right, so it's
8 hours.
approximately £200 a day for plus 300 to get it there, take it away, and his
Yeah.
salary.
Yeah.
So we're looking at something like 700 for 2 days.
Yes, something I would guess so. Yeah.
But it's something.
Yeah, it's 187 for a daily hire.
Yeah.
So I assume that's 2 lots of 187. And then the other things are obviously fixed costs and getting it there and getting it back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's going to be the same whether it's there for 1 day or.
Councillor Franklin?
Thank you. I realise it's quite a while since it was last one, was it 2017?
Yeah,
So you're talking, what, 7 years?
7 years.
I just wonder, is there any, during the winter months when the farmer's got his cattle off, could we put something else in there, like goats or something, to annually, so they just chomp it down every year through the winter months?
Well, I've always thought that we should.
And just graze it with goats or something?
Look at other livestock in there in the winter.
Well, my understanding is goats are escape artists.
Yeah.
So the cost of extra
Cost of security
could be more than the 700.
You could put them collars on now, you put a wire around it, buzzes when they go to the wire, can't you?
Yeah.
Class
Yeah,
as
but
well.
then you've got to have somebody that responds.
Well, yeah,
to
well, the
that.
person who had the goats will be responsible for milk.
I think,
Because a lot of goats are milk these days, isn't there?
Yeah.
Very low in cholesterol, isn't it?
It's a very open space for a
Yeah.
winter without any shelter or anything, isn't it?
I think a better bet might, if we are going to consider winter grazing.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, I think with respect to Roger, who's been out grazing for a good number of years, he might have a view about the land being grazed in the winter, with not much grass left on there for when he brings them on in the spring. So we might lose him. He might say, well,
There's no grass at the moment, though, is there?
well,
There is on the main fields, there isn't there?
yeah, the main field's okay.
No, I just thought of an annual grazing, just to keep it all down. Yeah.
The thing that did occur to me would be, if anyone knew of someone who had some robust cattle who could go on there at times in the winter. But we've never grazed, in all the years I've been warden, we've never done anything except summer graze the whole reserve. And he puts between 40 and 50 head on there.
Does he?
Cattle, and it basically it's not enough to keep the vegetation under control, I don't think. So that's why we've always had to resort every several years to mechanical
do it.
I think from my experience with Posalia volunteer for Kent Wildlife Trust, and I'm one of the team that check their grazing animals on a regular basis. And I think they struggle to get enough animals for their reserves. But certainly we've got a very good livestock manager, and I could put you in touch with her if you were interested.
I think it's worth exploring any options.
Really?
But I, as I say, I think Roger Dunn, the farmer, needs to be at least consulted on.
Yeah, we did put about 10 cattle, to the Wildlife Trust in Gallows Field once to clear it all out. Didn't, the old Longhorns did a marvellous job. They're there all winter.
Yeah.
It's scary when it's a bit misty, isn't it? That coming through.
Yes.
So are you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously here we're talking about, quite an area.
Quite an area of land, isn't it?
But first impression realistically is 700 quid to get it cleared.
Yeah.
Isn't that much?
No, I think not.
I chewed up.
I don't know what we can do in terms of agreeing now, and budgets. Can you advise, Town Clerk?
I think Monk's Hall seems to be a special kind of budget.
Yes, it is.
It's a reserve.
They're only counting.
Yeah,
Quite a lot of money.
there's quite a lot of money. I don't think it's impossible.
It puzzles me, the budget arrangements for the Monks Wall because,
It puzzles me too.
because the last time I looked earlier in the year, I don't know where it cropped up somewhere, that there seemed to be like a reserve budget with something like 70-odd thousand pounds.
That's what it is.
I believe it's been segregated from the main budget
Yeah.
to avoid it getting subsumed into running the Guildhall.
It's done from DEFRA grants.
Yeah.
It's always on its own, but at one time, a certain mayor sort of borrowed 20 grand out of it. It has been put back because it's all full of precept.
That's
And
right.
after that, I wasn't a mayor and we kept it completely separate.
Yeah.
So it's ring fenced, it can't be used anything other than
Yeah.
the
I mean,
reserve.
but presumably,
That,
this sort of sum of money, are we still talking about getting quotes from other people?
You
That's what
don't
we
need
thought.
to get quotes,
It's
you
like
need
these
to get good value.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
So we've
perfectly
got the money
understandable.
there, and I think it.
I mean, people like, the people who machine cut it before were
Yeah.
Rhino,
Yeah.
a local company, and there's bound to be another one.
yeah,
So if we can get a couple more quotes on top of the one from MRF,
yeah.
and then, and get it mown sometime soon, sometime this winter anyway.
Can we get it, agreed that we would go ahead with the best quote rather than wait and then have to bring it back to a meeting or
Yes.
something?
Because the next
I think
one's
It would be good to have good practice, to have a limit on that.
Yes.
To,
I think we've got a
£100,000.
The limit would be what it would cost from
MRF, yeah.
MRF, so, which is about 700 by the sound of
Yeah.
it. For 2 days.
Is there grass under this? Will grass come back? It's all dead now. It's all been overgrown. So
Sorry.
would it have to be seeded? I mean,
No,
It will come back.
It'll come back, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's actually not in as bad a state, the bramble, as it was, back in 2017. There, the bramble was head high in places. Here, it's sort of mostly waist high. But you can just see it, what bramble does, it sends out these long runners into the grass.
Yeah.
I have.
And then they form a new plant, and that leapfrogs.
Birds eat the brambles, don't they? But very,
The other thing about this area, apart from the fact that, we get grazing fees, partly at least for the farmer grazing on this, is that this field is being colonised by orchids as well, quite rare ones. In fact, in that stretch of the field just there in the photo, has got things like pyramid orchid and bee orchids and things great coming into the grass. Well, they're not, and also in that general area there are common spotted orchid as well. And clearly they won't survive if they're being covered with bramble.
So if we can, if we said aiming for less than 800, allowing a little bit of wiggle. That would be advisory subject to STC or
Yeah, that's full town council.
town council. So
We recommend it and then they approve it.
yes, can we include that in?
Do we have, does it need to be for matters, small matters?
Yeah, generally goes to the town council.
I think the
It's just
safest.
a council, committee recommendations, isn't it? Other committees.
Okay.
Can we squeeze that into the next one on the?
Yeah.
No.
That could be January now, isn't it?
Are we okay if we're able to approve that in January?
Yeah.
So if I can propose that we agree from this committee to recommend £800 from Monkswall funds towards clearing the bramble to be agreed to be
So
confirmed by this.
it can go to finance because it's under 10,000.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but finance aren't really supposed to do that, are they supposed to go to full town
No,
council?
it's really fine.
No, well, I don't think it is.
Councillor Franklin, standing orders say under 10,000 it can go to finance.
Well, it can go to finance and it goes on to the full town council.
Yes, but they can approve it and then the council.
Yeah.
It's
So,
fine.
so we'll just.
It's
go
not going
through that
on,
chain. Yeah,
it's
we'll
all
go-
double handling.
we go through that chain. So I'm proposing, can we have a second?
Second.
And Councillor Franklin seconding. I think we're all agreed on that.
Yeah.
So I think that's basically £800. If we can get some quotes, that's great. Then we can reconfirm in
That'd be good.
sometime January.
Excellent.
Back to you, Ken.
Okay, item C on my report, relates to attachment 8 in your paper, in your papers. But very quickly, because I'm conscious of the time already. A few weeks ago, I was approached by someone from the Kent Wildlife Trust, saying that they were interested in including the rest of Monk's Wall as one of their LWS's, local wildlife sites. Basically, what a local wildlife site is, there are several hundred such sites scattered across the county that have been designated by the Kent Wildlife Trust as being particularly worthy of just being recognised and nominated. There's no statutory implications behind it. It's not an SSSI or a local nature reserve. It's simply the Kent Trust saying this particular area, whether it be a field or a roadside or a larger area, is well above average from its wildlife point of view. And for many years, most of Monk's Wall has been part of the local Goshall Valley and Ash Levels local wildlife site. And all they're doing now, I think it's partly based on the botanical survey that was done earlier this year, where they confirmed the existence of these orchids, because this is the area they're talking about. The pale banana shape here. All the rest of it is part of the local wildlife site anyway. It has been for years. And it hasn't meant anything really. I mean, it's not something that has cropped up in our deliberations over the years. It's just there. So they are just requesting that, well, in fact, I think they were going to go ahead and do it anyway. And I said, well, it might be a nice gesture if this was actually put to the councillors a sandwich for them to at least be aware of it and hopefully approve the notion. There are no cost implications. There's no law involved. They won't come along and say you're not managing this properly and want you to change it. It's entirely up to us. All they're doing is just saying this is a good. In fact, one of the reasons that they will declare it a local wildlife site is because they think we are managing it properly, rather than them coming along and saying we're going to override you. There's no suggestion of that.
Sounds excellent.
Yeah.
So it's just how we can actually. I mean, in the very, very unlikely event, that there was a planning application that impacted on Monk's Wall area, it's another string to the bow, which you say is actually a local.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried really, because it's right next to that bypass bit there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're in that development on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
And I think we do that and then they just say, oh, we don't want that development on the other side of the road.
You know.
You know what I mean?
It's
At the moment there, we've got a barrier, haven't we?
Yes.
Well,
it's a good.
I think we should just leave that and consider it. Otherwise,
I'm sorry, I'm not following you here at all.
well, we've got the road that goes up Monk's Way, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we're going to have 500 houses go on the right-hand side.
Unfortunately, yes.
And at the moment, there, our reserve is the other side of the Monk's Wall, isn't it?
Sorry?
The Monk's Wall, you know the road,
That's the.
and in the middle of the meadow there's the Monk's Wall,
Yeah.
which acts as a natural barrier.
Yeah.
And then we've got this little meadow strip, haven't we, 4A, 4B?
Yeah, well,
And I think we should just leave it as and
Yeah.
not do that.
The 4A,
we
4B
get
is
extra
still part,
protection from
still part of the
this
reserve.
protection.
No, but I think we'll have a lot of hassle from the Kent Nature thing when this development goes on Discovery Park.
I don't agree with that
Yes.
at all. I'm sorry, I think that's just
Yeah. The-
bonkers.
The other thing I should have said and forgot is that most of the verge of the Monks Way Road is actually a roadside nature reserve
Yeah, I know.
designated by Kent Highways and Kent Wildlife Trust. So from their point of view, all that's saying is this is local wildlife site, this is a local nature reserve along the roadside, and then there's the banana shape in the middle,
Yeah.
which is not designated as anything except that it's part of Monks Way Nature
Just
Reserve.
leave it
And
as
all they're doing is just tidying it up, it seems to me.
Yes. Yes, so,
I mean, it just seems like it's giving an extra layer of protection against anything
Yes.
untoward happening.
Yeah.
Don't follow the other argument.
I'm against it.
can we persuade you otherwise?
No.
Because obviously we're going,
As you know, I'm a Portland Haven Commissioner,
yeah.
and we have a lot of trouble, unfortunately, down the river mouth.
Oh, yeah, I can see,
We've both got to abide side by side,
Yes.
basically. We want the boats up,
yeah,
we want the river to be used, but it impinges on the nature reserve at the river mouth.
yes, the development of the 500 and more houses is it's out of our control. The road itself acts as a barrier.
Yeah, and this shows that little
The 4A, 4B, 4C is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Kent Wildlife Trust. So, and all they're going to do is just basically note it. Is that
Yeah, they'll
note
part
it
of the paperwork that I sent out to colleagues was a map
as,
sent to me by the Kent Wildlife Trust. It's that one.
Yeah.
And they're certainly designating it there, and then the other map shows the wider area. But this will just be a little tiny addition to it.
So they're not altering anything, changing. They're
No,
just giving it
absolutely,
extra
absolutely
layer
not.
of protection. That's it.
Absolutely not. There's nothing.
From time to time, they have a team that go up there and just do a survey of what orchids are there.
That's it.
Yeah.
do we need to vote? I presume we need to vote on this to sort of say yay or nay. But by the sound of it, they can just do it anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could,
Session.
yeah. But as I say, I
I don't think the community would do that without.
No.
I don't think they would, but in theory.
I can't see any downside in doing this.
Yeah.
I just like to defer it, a couple of years down. Anyway, it's my personal opinion, it's up to you, I'm just made.
So I think if we vote on this, and what I would like to do is, because we're just quo rate, is can we review this when we've got 3 more councillors here next time? But so this is a provisional,
Yeah.
just to give an impression. Is there a timescale
No.
for this? So when we have to,
So do we want to vote on
And
it?
to be honest, Chair, I think there are far more important things for us
can
to
we
be
note this then?
engaged in.
Defer it to the next meeting.
And then we can vote when there's a full,
Yes.
a fuller meeting. So I'm proposing we note this. Can I have a second now?
Well, deferring it to the next meeting.
To
Yeah.
next meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Item D on my list is the publicity leaflet, which I was asked to take forward.
Yes,
And again, it came out with the papers for this meeting. My photocopy makes it look a right mess. It actually looks better when you're on the screen.
I mean, I think it looks brilliant. The only thing, and I can tell that it probably isn't the same in real life as it is on here, but you can't read a word of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
The reason, it doesn't come up on printed copy here. The reason I asked the graphic designer, RK Graphics, to use the green font is that it's the same colour as on all the notice boards on the reserve. A pale green background and then a dark green font. If colleagues decided that you wanted it darker, make the font either a dark green or even black, and then that's not a problem. I can just go back and say to the guy.
It's a comment I made at our last meeting.
Yeah.
So my vote would be to make it significantly darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no trouble. And then the,
So which font, the font?
So the font on the brochure to be made darker to improve the legibility.
Yeah, it's not slightly colourblind, so.
and the price is quoted.
I have seen it, but it is
Can't
gone.
recollect what the price was now. Oh, here we are. They're quoting £200 for 500 copies and £300 for 1,000 copies.
That's peanuts, really, isn't it?
So, do colleagues want me to get back or will you order them, Sophie?
If you send all the details, I can order them, but we have to agree to
Yeah, have to
do
agree.
it. And we'll again, have to go to F&G.
And you'll find that that number of copies is what would normally last for a year.
Yeah, I would have thought so at least. I mean, I'm assuming that there would be some kept here in the racks downstairs, some in other places around town.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we could organise a little box with a lid on, up on by the main car park for people to take some from there as well.
Right.
It's the usual thing.
How many, did you get 3 quotes?
No,
That might-
no, I only went to
That's
these
what's going to
people
happen, isn't it?
because they were the people that did all the signage. They already had all the a lot of the graphics already.
No, that's good. No, I know what some of the councils are
Yeah,
right.
I know, I do appreciate it.
Yeah,
I think if they've already got all the
The
graphics,
graphics,
they're gonna be a lot
exactly.
cheaper than if you go to somebody
yeah.
fresh. And that's what we did with the town guides, we didn't
Yeah.
get 3 quotes.
We'll have to emphasise it when all the graphics and things.
Yeah, well, you can always get something cheaper. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
So if we can have a vote on just saying yes to
Yeah.
the brochures. So we're voting on how many brochures? 1,000? 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000 brochures, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's again, you go to MGP and then I presume council.
Yeah.
Right. Item E, this planning application, a major issue has arisen. If you remember, I was asked to draw up a planning application for the new scrape and Burhide together, which I worked on off and on since the last meeting of this group in September. Made good progress on it, I thought. I've substantially written it, in fact. And then I contacted Stephanie Bramley at Dover District Council. She's their Senior Natural Environment Officer. She's one of the very few, apparently, if not the only, trained ecologist in any district council office anywhere in the county. So she actually knows what she's talking about. And I was inquiring of her about an issue called biodiversity net gain. And biodiversity net gain, you may well, you're probably aware of it anyway, but I'm going to quickly just rehearse the thing. Since 2024, it only became law last year, any development or any developer, like a housing developer or whatever, has to include within their planning application details of how their development will increase the amount of wildlife by at least 10%. That's called biodiversity net gain. And this net gain can either be done on the site of the new housing estate, or it can be done off-site somewhere else. Stephanie wrote back to me, and I was asking her for her advice, particularly on this issue, because there were technical things to do with who was qualified or who should actually draw up the biodiversity net gain part of the planning application. She wrote back to me at length, a very supportive letter, and she said, I'm all in favour of what you're planning here, improving the wildlife, but, and it was a very big but, and she came up with a list of issues, the upshot of which is that she's advising that we do not proceed with scrape at this stage. The reason being, the basic reason is that, well, there's a whole list of reasons. One is that it will cost the council, because we would need, I say we, the council, would need to get a trained ecologist to write that part of the planning application. Part of the biodiversity net gain issue is that you have to ensure not only that you're going to improve the wildlife by 10%, but that you can prove that you've improved it over a period of 30 years. So you have to set up a monitoring system for 30 years. That's what I thought, but there it is in black and
We're not
white.
building a housing development, we're just doing a scrape.
Yeah, that
scrape
means,
itself is biodiversity net gain.
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that means that lost my thread somewhere. Yeah, sorry, that means that Dover District Council, as the respective planning authority, would be charging Sandwich Town Council off and on over 30 years to set up a monitoring system for someone to go out to Monk's Wall to prove year on year that the biodiversity has been maintained as initially agreed.
You do sometimes wonder.
Now,
Yes.
before we get too involved in, and that apparently is what developers are having to commit to, the housing estates and the other developments are taking place around the land. She then said that it was pointed out to the government since this became law only last year that this is a nonsense to apply biodiversity net gain to nature reserves. Because clearly, you've got a place of high biodiversity anyway. To then say, right, you've got to improve it by 10% on top of what's there already is just nonsense. So her advice is, based on her professional contacts and within the world of ecology and planning, is that it's very likely that the government is going to backpedal on this particular part of the law. And if and when they do, it will be sometime next year in 2026.
Yeah.
So that they will make biodiversity net gain not apply for nature reserves.
No, it's just going on to the illogic of this, because clearly the scrape is the thing that you're doing. Somewhere else, you have to have the net BNG, which implies change, where you would need a planning application to make that change, which then it's like a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
You would then need somewhere else to offset that change.
Yes, I mean, the whole thing's
It's
nightmare.
insane. It's just going on from there.
Yeah.
If the scrape itself is in its own right a net gain.
Yes.
We are having almost certainly this development across the road. Is there any opportunity, I wonder, of approaching the developers that they fund the scrape as their BNG?
In theory, yes, but I suspect that if they've already got planning application for their housing across the road, the other side of the road, they've probably already got the BNG
It's an
sorted out.
It's an ongoing development.
Yeah.
They might not be there.
Good question to ask.
Two things. Firstly, it's not even as straightforward as it looked. It's not just the scrape. It's actually what's called the red line area, which on the planning application, the draft planning application as I drew up, is in fact the entire field that the scrape is going to sit in. On your map, it's field 3A, which has got, you literally, when you submit a planning application, I know I'm teaching grandparents to suck eggs here, but when you submit a planning application, you have to designate an area. It's called the red line area, within which the actual development is going to take place. So it's not that we would have to show an increase in biodiversity just in the scrape area. We'd actually have to show a 10% increase within the entire red line area, all that field 3A.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Chairman, with all respect to the wisdom of the DDC ecologist, this is nonsense.
Yes.
I mean, I would really, first of all, I'd like to see a copy of that letter. And I think we should firmly push back, maybe check in with RSPB and KWT, because I'm damn sure they're not doing DDA calculations every time they do some development, in inverted commas, on one of their reserves. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Is that a junior,
Yeah,
junior appointment?
I've only read out just some or drawn attention of some of, there's the letter.
Yeah.
I've only drawn attention to some of the issues. There are others.
Okay.
There's the 30-year monitoring.
Yeah, but that's all based on the premise that this is a development.
Development.
Yeah.
This is
But
part of
that's
the-
that's the point that she makes. Where are we?
But it's just part and parcel of it.
It's management of
the nature
reserve.
reserve, yes.
Yeah.
It's not anything really.
I think when we look at planning applications for each state, like down the road there, I don't think we've had a biodiversity plan from them, they're part of the plan.
Well, that's what I was wondering actually, how much they adhere to the current rules about this. You don't see it, do you? when you go to the-
I'll read. I mean, she is very much in support of this project, and what she's doing is just saying that this is the law as it stands.
But
So I'll just read this paragraph if I may. Mandatory biodiversity net gain, while intended to ensure that development delivers genuine biodiversity gains, at the moment applies to development even when there is a pure intention to deliver biodiversity improvements. In other words, what she's saying, our intention here is purely to improve biodiversity. And the information that I submitted to her for her to look at, showed how much an increase in water area there would be, how much increase in muddy margins there would be, So she's saying even when there is a pure intention to deliver biodiversity improvements, BNG law still applies. Projects such as this, which are already on well-managed and biodiverse sites, are effectively doubly penalised by this BNG due to the relatively high pre-development habitat baseline. In other words, she's saying you get hit twice, because you've first of all got to prove that it's a biodiverse site anyway, and then you've got to show or in our case, that's not a problem. And then we have to say we're going to upgrade it by another 10%, and then ensure that it's like that for 30 years. And then she's saying, as I mentioned before, there was a government consultation on the framework just this last summer, and proposed amendments are due before the end of this year. It's widely expected that applications that relate purely to biodiversity enhancements will become exempted from biodiversity net gain. Of course, this isn't 100% certain until the government announces it. The expectation is that any changes to the legal framework wouldn't be enacted at least until the spring or early summer of next year.
Sorry.
Is there already a scrape in, number 3?
Sorry,
Is there a previous scrape in 3?
the
3A?
scrape will be just up from area where letter
No,
3A
is there already a scrape there?
No, there's just a ditch.
Oh,
The idea is
that's we're enlarging the ditch.
we're enlarging the ditch.
I find it amazing that you need planning application in the first place for something like this. Is just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid we do. I mean, that's for sure.
Can I propose, well, can I suggest at the moment, I'm not proposing anything quite yet, suggest that we delay this until common sense might have,
Yeah.
might be hit Westminster, because it's,
Well, that's quite down.
It's been delayed 3 years, they're already in there.
There is a, sorry, Chair.
oh, no,
I'm
I'm
interrupting you.
just,
There is another angle to this, which is relevant to delaying the project. I'm personally persuaded that we should delay. I think we've got enough to be going on with doing other things out there on the reserve. The cost and the implications of doing it under the present rules, I mean, this officer is strongly advising us not to do it. She's saying you could do it, but be aware that it will cost you and it's a long-term commitment. Why not wait for a few more months until the government hopefully changes its mind, and then it'll be a lot more straightforward and you can go through with it. The other reason that I'm persuaded about this is connected to a thing called the Countryside Stewardship Scheme. The Nature Reserve, as colleagues will know, for many years now has been getting money from Natural England, the Rural Payments Agency under the Countryside Stewardship Scheme. Our scheme is due to finish in December of next year. We get about £3,500 a year at the moment. Our scheme is due to finish December of 2026. I was under the impression until quite recently, literally within the last week, that the Countryside Stewardship Scheme was going to cease, full stop, across the country. It now turns out that it may not, and that it actually will carry on beyond 2026, and that people like Sandwich Town Council, that owns that reserve and has got an existing scheme going, will be informed sometime in 2026 through the agent, Mark Chandler. Do we want to renew for the future, to keep claiming several £1,000s a year? The other thing is that under the Countryside Stewardship Scheme, it's possible to claim for capital projects, one-off projects. The last scrape that we did out there, the existing scrape, we claimed, colleagues may remember, we claimed something like, or we were given by the Rural Payments Agency something in excess of £30,000 to do that scrape. It cost us about 17,000. So we made about £13,000–14,000 profit on that. From what I've read recently, Countryside Stewardship Scheme is carrying on the capital the year-on-year payments, plus these capital projects, are also just going to carry on as before. That's another very good reason, it seems to me, for us deferring this decision about the scrape for another 9 months, get the planning application in, and then stick an application into the Rural Payments Agency and get them to pay for it.
Well, I was just going to say, that's why our account looks so well. We have had an application, which we never actually did the scrape about 3 years ago, because we normally only have about £10,000–12,000 in the account, very low amounts. So we've already got the the money,
Yeah.
and which should have been spent, and has gone through circumstances, with the land and with the weather, it's all been delayed, and now we've got another hiccup.
Yeah, well, now we've got a chance of getting another dog.
Yeah,
Yes, I would suggest that, can I propose that we delay,
defer this again,
we defer it pending,
yeah.
pending sense and money.
Should we date on that?
So not this next meeting, the meeting afterwards. Which
June?
will be June, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I'll keep my eyes and ears open
Yes,
for,
please.
you know, any news from government circles.
Yeah.
You know, that they actually are going to, rescind that decision.
Yes.
And then we'll be back to, square one.
So if we can just vote on
Take it from
that.
there.
So we're deferring to June.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just on the letter that you've got, can you share, are you happy sharing that with us?
The,
The letter from,
yeah, absolutely, I can.
do you want to scan it or do you
I
want
can get that,
An email, isn't it?
or if it's an
and,
email, then
and,
even
you
better.
know, if you want, something to hurt your brain, I totally recommend this letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Is it
from
email?
her to me, dated 25th of November,
Yeah.
that I will happily,
That would be
forward
great,
that.
because she's being supportive.
Yeah.
Our beef is essentially with Westminster.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't want to upset the DDC.
Yeah, it's certainly not her digging their heels in and saying, no, we're not going to help you with this. She's saying, you do realise
Yeah.
that if you were to proceed with this is what you're letting yourself in for.
Yeah, thank you.
And she's advising, counselling against it.
Chair,
Yes.
if we're going to kick this into the long grass, does that mean you have to defer the shrub clearance, or else there won't be any long grass to kick the match into?
This is a different case.
Nice one. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
What it means, of course, is that any money we would have spent ourselves, out of our own council coffers, as it were, doing the scrape, if this all works smoothly, we'll get the money from external sources from the
Well, we
RP.
don't get any money from the town council, it's all grants,
Right.
it's all HEFA.
And associated with that, an approach to the developers across the road.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with that? Or would you prefer?
Well, I'm willing to try, or someone should be willing to try. Yes.
I think the
It should
challenge
be me,
will
it should
be-
be the council maybe, but.
That there's no
Quite happy to advise.
implied, not ownership, but influence.
Hmm.
Because we can't, it would be a gift.
Yeah.
What help
Thank
them.
you, and on you, carry on, leaking
Yeah.
sluice.
Leaking sluice. The latest I've heard on the sluice is that the contractors had a slight glitch with the people who are supplying the new concrete slab to repair the sluice. Not MRF, our contractors, they don't make concrete slabs, but the people that they'd subcontracted that job to had made a bit of a mess of getting the slab ready. So they had to go back to square one and start again. It hadn't cured, apparently. So it broke when they tried moving it. But the process is in place. We're just waiting for this slab to be supplied, and then the contractors will go on site and hopefully repair the sluice.
Hadn't set properly.
Sorry, I'm racing on here, so I'm conscious of
Yes,
the
please.
time, I'm sure all colleagues are. Gate across the riverbank by the marina. I'm not sure what's happened with this. I know we've received a price from MRF, but I don't know whether it's been proceeded with.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. So shall I chase, I will talk to the property manager.
Yeah, Julian was following up, but I think it's been put a little bit on the back burner, in the light of other things. Item H, I was asked at the last meeting to find out whether the Woodland Trust were still supplying free trees. They are. If you remember, colleagues, the suggestion was to plant up compartment 4D there's this sort of rectangular bit at the Stonner end of the estate. It's a very little botanical or indeed ornithological or other interest. And it's a bit of rough grazing with not much else in it, drying out. And the suggestion was that this could be planted up. Woodland Trust are still supplying trees. The next lot would be in March of next year. They would have to be planted in March and as soon after delivery, because I think they might come bare rooted. And you can order, 5, 10, 50, 100, 400, and they will supply them in theory. But it does raise an issue. That compartment 4D is grazed by Roger Dunn, well, not by him, by his captain. And he also, in the past anyway, gets the animals on and off the reserve through that field. Well, clearly, if we were to shove 400 saplings in that field and then release 40 or 50 head of cattle, you know what's going to happen. The saplings will get stomped and whatever. So if we did do that, it would mean, I regret to say, an additional expense of actually fencing off that field to make a protected area for the trees to stand a chance of growing in. That would mean that there would just be a track, an access track, just above on your map where it says 4D. You can see a line of trees there. There's an access track onto the reserve along there. It would mean a case of putting a fence along that to the base of that access track, fencing off the entire field and then planting it with trees inside. And Roger Dunn would either have to get his cattle to go along the track to get them off the reserve, or he'd have to get them off the reserve, on and off the reserve, by another route, probably off the Monk's Way.
Off the Monk's Way.
So the question is, do you still want to proceed with the idea of tree planting in 4D now, or and in which case are you also happy with getting estimates for putting a fence along there?
Do you know what species of trees?
They're mixed native trees, so they'll be a mixture.
I had a look on Woodland Trust.
Yeah.
But it's basically some blackthorn, hawthorn,
Hornbeam.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it really catches the wind there.
Yeah.
So I could make a right copse of it and close it right up.
Yeah.
Those big trees like elk and ash, they do need to be like really close together, don't
There's
they?
no ash in it.
Oh, I know.
I saw, no. There's silver birch.
Yeah.
Small stuff.
But it's a
No,
very restricted mix of trees. There's nothing particularly interesting.
I think they're ones that are, firstly, they only deal in native trees,
Yeah.
anyway, Woodland Trust. And secondly, they deal generally in things that have a decent survival rate.
This area.
You know, we just dig a hole and stick them in.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I had
40, 50% of them will survive, which is quite a good hit rate.
Yeah.
You know, if you're planting, the more specialist trees, then you've really got to look after them and mulch them and mow them and whatever.
I would have thought that it would be a bonus to have trees. I mean, the more trees we have, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Looking at what, 400 trees there?
Right.
Is there any willows? I was looking at the area number one, but that's pretty barren number one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gonna get any willows in there, was
No, but willows are dead easy because
No, I know they
you
do.
just
Anything.
cut off an existing willow tree and stick them in and they grow with willow whips.
Yes.
I've done that in different parts of the reserve already.
So definitely we would need a fence.
Yeah.
Can we get a price on that?
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously loads of fencing companies and, I mean, MRF for a start, they do fencing.
What's distance, is it 100 metres or?
It's something like 100 metres along there.
Yeah.
As it happens, there is an existing fence at the left-hand end as we look at it, which is collapsing. So it would make sense actually to get that repaired and then a long fence along there.
Yes.
You won't need a fence on the river side because there's a deep ditch, cattle won't go down through.
Sorry, councillor Franco?
Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to use barbed wire because you're a public footpath, are you? So I think the only feature really is when the farmer's moving the cattle is to run an electric fence along, then it come down when the cattle's not being moved.
That's another possibility, of course, yeah.
And
You
the
would-
public could go there and the electric fence would be took down or
Yeah.
turned off.
Would the farmer be willing to do that?
I'd have to ask him.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't.
What's that? Yes, they normally have electric fences, don't they?
Who do?
Farmers use electric
Yeah,
fences.
well, don't get me started with that.
Oh, no, electric fence, you can touch them.
Oh, they're only off the car battery, quite good.
It's nothing nasty.
Okay.
No.
Seriously.
And if the public are in and the cattle are in, then it'd be turned off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
the
like
fence would be
they're
So you're
expensive.
saying just then for literally when the cattle initially come in
And out.
and then when they go out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I hadn't thought of that. I mean, that might solve the problem.
Be a lot cheaper, wouldn't it?
As long as the cattle aren't grazed in there at any time, you know,
No.
even if what he often does, you know, at the end, like in October, just gone, he had them out here in the main part of the reserve.
Yeah,
He then put them into 4D
Yeah.
just for a couple of days.
yeah.
And you could tell by, you know, the state of the vegetation, just from them 50 head of cattle being there for
Mhm.
a couple of days. You know, there's lots of vegetation flattened. So, you know, that would have to be electrically fenced off,
Mhm.
or they wouldn't have to be grazed in there at all.
Mhm.
And then to run an electric fence along so that they would just go along the track into the truck up here and then off-site.
Is 4D under stewardship, okay? Is 4D under?
No, it's
Okay, so
not.
there's no loss of revenue?
No, there's not covered by the countryside stewardship, so it isn't 4D.
So if we go for the trees, we've got basically 3 months to find volunteers to bring spades.
Yeah, that's the other issue, getting someone to,
Well,
I mean,
it happened to be one.
Yeah.
I mean, Nicky Warden, the tree warden, who operates in the sandwich area, she may be able to help out on that.
It's got nice team,
Yeah.
got scouts, guides.
Yeah, in terms of tree protectors, because I know Woodland Trust, they'll give the trees free, they sell the protectors. I've got hundreds.
Right. Okay, good. Right.
Right.
Oh, and so on voting on this, are we going to vote to say yes to the trees? I would,
Yes.
I think so, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
I would suggest if you come up with a number of trees, I think anything over a couple of hundred trees, then we will need more tree protectors.
Yeah.
Certainly I've got more than 200, as I say, which,
Are these plastic spirals?
Yeah.
no, these are the plastic straights, the tubes.
Yeah, I've got about 100 out on the reserve already,
Most of them.
which I,
It's the sticks that I don't have. So we would need some kind of sticks.
Would you need actually 400 or you've got to have space out, you might end up with only say 300 we've got it, mightn't you?
well,
Or would you just plant them all, let the sun die anyway?
yeah,
It-
exactly.
you just
Yeah,
move them.
it's better to overplant.
Yeah, overplant.
Plant.
So 400?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
So,
400.
yeah, so proposing.
Yeah.
So councillor Ripley is proposing, councillor Crampton is seconding, and it's unanimous.
Yeah.
So brace yourselves for March. Right, and thank you
I
again.
know we're
to-
overrunning already.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry.
This isn't actually on, in my report, but it's something which is current. On the management plan, we agreed, colleagues agreed earlier this, when the management plan was drawn up in the summer, to reinstate the footpaths in compartment 5, which is over at the Stommer end, and also in compartment 1, which is half off the extreme left-hand side of your map. And MRF were given the contract to do that. I can report, and if you look at the photograph there, there's the evidence taken yesterday. They've been on site for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's what I've got on here.
2 or 3 days this week with this incredible bit of kit. And they have they've reinstated a very broad circular path all the way around compartment 5. There's no, the idea was, just to remind colleagues, is that we've put a kissing gate at each end of compartment 5 in the fullness of time, so members of the public could walk through this wooded area. The other thing that's happened is that they made the path so wide, as you can see from the photograph there, that it effectively has become a butterfly ride, which wasn't the intention to start with, but hey, now never look a gift horse or a gift butterfly in the mouth. I thought they were just going to do a path, but the guy who's been out working out there the last couple of days has got slightly carried away. And instead of just doing, if and when you get to go out there, you'll see that one section where the actual manager of the company, project manager, he started the thing off. He did a path about as wide as from me to you. He then handed it over to one of his workers who decided that he was going to go the whole hog. And he's now put this huge ride all the way around compartment 5. And once the vegetation grows back up, which it will very rapidly, it's going to be a lovely habitat there, and it'll be perfect for butterflies and birds and whatever.
Brilliant.
And they are now planning in the very near future, within the next few days, to transfer themselves up to the other end and do a similar thing, opening up the footpath in compartment 1. They've got to, as of this afternoon, they are talking to the Environment Agency about getting the equipment across the trackway there.
Yeah.
But hopefully that will happen in the next day, a couple of days.
Well, they could get a boat and sail it across, I should think, if the rain keeps on.
Yes.
We didn't have any sort of, I know when you're going gaze and sorts, they actually stack old logs and things, don't they?
Yeah.
Encourage insects. If we're getting beavers, I just wonder we might get some timber that we can stack up and make it last.
The way this machine operates,
It's chewing up, isn't it?
there are no logs.
Chewing up, yeah.
It literally, trunks of trees that diameter, it just splinters them and spews them out as splinters and pulp.
I can see the benefits, Ken, but that area was planted up as with trees as part of the mitigation for the coastal defence.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
And it's
always this thing.
if they come back and see that,
Yeah.
rest assured, and most of it is completely impassable.
oh, okay.
You couldn't get in it. I mean, because they talking about over and under planting. When they planted it up, they literally, the trees are that far apart. You can't get in it. I mean, now, when I first started as warden here, the best part of 10 years ago, I did meet on one occasion a guy out there who asked what the hell I was doing on that site, because it turned out he was the contractor who'd been given the job of planting. But I've not ever seen him since.
No, boys off used to come down as well.
Yeah, so that's good. They've made a lot of progress and they've done, I think, a good job on that.
Oh, good.
Any other items? Treatment item are health and safety issues. Sorry to lower the tone, but the only health and safety issue is this wretched business in the main car park of dog and possibly human feces being left in the main car park. It's pretty unpleasant. larger numbers of people, I think, visiting the reserve. I was mightily impressed with this photograph on the bottom of page 3 of my report. There's one I was out there clearing scrubbing compartment 4, and I looked round, and there's a great procession of people coming along there across the reserve, and it's a local rambling for walking
Oh,
route.
the Wednesday walkers.
Wednesday walkers.
Yeah.
About 30 of them.
Yes.
So I was pleased with that.
Yeah.
Item K, just out of interest, I just checked some of the websites where the reserve is mentioned. And as you can see, we're on Wikipedia, Google Maps, Explore Kent, etc. Reserve ordering, several members of the public, D in particular here, gives regular and helpful feedback on the wildlife. And again, it would be good to have a team of volunteers like they have at Gaze and Swords, you know, but you know, I just raise that as an issue. End of the countryside stewardship scheme, I've already talked about. Wildlife notes, nothing much. It's all been very, very quiet out there, mostly because of this business about no water in the existing scrape. Once the sluice is repaired, I can put some more water on. I think that's me done. I don't know if there's anything else on the agenda that we haven't covered.
That's great. Well, you've covered pretty well everything
Yeah.
leading up to the action log.
One.
Oh, yes, please.
It's not an agenda item really. Last meeting, the committee approved the work that you were doing on at Nature Reserve, and also the stuff around the sluice gates. So the finance officer was just wanting the chair to initial the invoices to confirm that that was all as it should be, because due to the increased hours, there's increased invoices, and he just wanted to be sure that that was
Oh, right.
all good, if that's all right. Do you mind?
Yes, no, I'll certainly do that.
So then-
I mean, some of my hours are now reduced.
Yes,
so I-
exactly. No,
because I sort of-
we had this conversation with him,
Yeah.
but he said just because, you know, it's good financial.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Now I'm not doing the planning application, those hours go down.
Just initial and today.
You're going to send that link?
It's the third.
Okay.
It seems that from the section.
I think
this was going
you've seen it.
So.
I think they must be the last few, couple of days, it's Julian.
Friday, was that?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I just find it ridiculous because when you see a housing development,
Not having a volunteer group, isn't it?
Huh?
You're not having a volunteer group, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always plenty to do.
So part of council, very science.
Be a morning for it, like Gaze and Swords.
Yeah, and the Gaze and Swords is very active.
Very good in there at the moment.
I know, you know, quite a few of the people who go to Gaze.
I was to ask them to do it, sorry.
Chair, there was one other item which I think you should flag up, just to report that the property officer and his team have started painting the bird hides, which was on the list of things to do for this winter.
While you're speaking, I noticed you brought a.
Oh, yeah,
Can we,
nest box, yeah.
yes, tell us about the nest box.
Yeah, sorry, that was also on the management plan, that it was agreed to install 15 nest boxes on the reserve this winter. This is the cheapest one I can find. It's cheap and cheerful. B&Q, £6.40. Now bear in mind that if you go online and look at bird boxes, you can buy them for anything up to 40, 50, 60 quid. This one is quite neat because you can either have it open fronted,
Yeah.
things like robins, or you can put that bit in and turn the little steel things, and then it's good for things like blue tits and whatever. The only thing that's missing, literally, is you should really have a metal plate on there.
Wow.
Because if you have blue tits and things nesting in there, particularly on a place like Monkswall where there are woodpeckers around,
Right.
it's not widely known, but woodpeckers do prey on blue tit chicks. And what they do is they chip away the wood
Oh.
and then get in and pull the chicks out. The only way of getting these things, I mean, I bought this one at B&Q in Dover, a couple of days ago. Then I'm quite happy to go there and clear the shelf of them, but it would mean obviously I'd have to have the receipt and then bring it to be paid for.
Could we order them online? Could we order them online, B&Q online,
They might. I've not seen them advertised online. I did check
on the B&Q website?
on the B&Q website. Not this model anyway.
What would you fasten them to? Would you just have to put post in to fasten them to, or we got it so you can?
There's a hole in the back. So what you do is you drill a hole.
Yeah,
right
but
way through, and then,
is there post or trees that are suitable with it?
oh yeah, there's nut trees scattered around the reserve. I mean, one of the main things about the place, Monkswall, from a bird nesting point of view, for birds like blue tits or whatever, is there aren't enough nesting sites because most of the trees are too young,
Yeah.
so they don't have hot natural holes and things. Whereas this would do the business. I'll happily check out to see, on the website again to see if they do them.
And we can certainly, is it an approved payment? I don't know where we are.
I would have thought so, it's a petty cash type thing, isn't
Yes.
it, really?
Well, we still have to approve the payment if we're going to do it.
Yeah, obviously I'll have till receipts.
Don't think there's a petty cash on this account, do they?
So
I don't think there's
you're looking
petty
at how
cash on
many,
this
10,
account.
20?
I think you said 15, but
15.
whatever. So, I mean, and the other thing, I would also, and you do get these online, you'll also have to get, the same number of metal plates, and they cost a couple of quid each. And then you screw them in, which I'm quite happy to do.
It's peanuts.
So we're looking at,
So I think say 15 times, did I say £6.40? Let's say £8, including the metal plates.
Yeah.
So £120.
120. And can we just vote to say we approve?
Yeah.
Now, does that allow
Is it-
you
is it-
to?
On the agenda, we can't just sort of add it in.
I thought that was, we talked about that previous one.
Has it been approved? I mean, I
It
wasn't
was-
me, so I don't know.
No, if it's not on the agenda then.
It was on my, in my report. It was on the. It was mentioned on the first page of my report, where I listed the things that we were planning to do this autumn, winter, purchase and installation. of 15 nest boxes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine then.
Yeah, it's on there.
So it's part of the management report you've already approved, so that's fine.
Do we still have our boxes down there?
There are no owl boxes. There are no owl boxes.
They've been are now down there, don't
Sorry, I beg your pardon. There are 2 owl boxes, barn owl boxes.
they? Yeah, down
There is an issue with them. They're absolutely choked up to the brim with stock dove poo, because stock doves use them as well.
there. Oh,
I'm going to go down there in the next not too distant future with a young lad who's an intern at the bird observatory. I have warned him. I
oh,
said,
it's a good job.
I said, it's a good job, but someone's going to do it. So he's going to go up the ladder and scrape all this stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully the barn owl will then come back
Yeah.
and nest it.
So we're noting, we're agreeing to 120 quid.
Yeah.
Are we okay with that?
Why don't we make it 150 to do all the bits and
Yeah,
bobs?
that
Yeah,
makes sense.
£150, 2 bird boxes
Yeah.
for Ken to purchase and then
Right.
be.
And then get green birds.
Yeah.
So,
Ken, there's an expense form that, just let me know and I'll email it to you.
Oh, right, okay.
and if we can, so I'm going to propose this, can I have a second? And that's Councillor Ripley, and it's agreed, unanimous.
Councillor Rip, Mallet,
That is proposed.
okay.
Right, and I think the next one, unless there's anything else, is, so I think we've covered all the various agenda items within your report. Is the action log for Monkswell Nature Reserve. 10, which is,
Oh, yes, action log.
let's just go down to scrape update.
Can I just talk to a couple of these?
Yes, of course.
The sluice repair is, I've just written on my copy here, soon. I did explain about the business about the concrete slab, but that's in hand. Then there was something about the like-for-like comparison required for the provision of new bird hide, which we already have got, in fact.
Yes, no, that's done, yes.
Yeah, and in any case, that's now postponed.
Okay, so that's complete, this action is complete.
The leaflets we talked about, and I've got an action on that now to get back to the, so do you want me to get back to the printers or?
Well, I mean, if you've done it so far, are you happy to just?
Yeah, I'm quite active, yeah.
You
It's
just
gonna
need- Let me just wait until after the 17th of December. And then it will be approved by F&GP
Okay.
and then I can confirm with you.
Yeah, and then I'll just pop down there
And then
and just
do it,
say,
and then-
or perhaps even phone up, say,
Yeah,
go
and you can
ahead.
invoice town council and
Yeah.
that's that.
I don't see how it comes under the finance, because this is a separate committee, which we report directly back to the town council, don't report back to the finance committee.
Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to look up.
The next item, we talked about the planning application, how that's now on hold. The next item, Woodland Trust, well, I've reported that I will contact them. I contacted them online just to check that they were still doing the scheme, they are, and they said, applications are welcome, so I'll get on to them. Next one, the two signs at the entrance to the reserve, those have been swapped.
That's done.
So they're where they should be now. The sign saying car park is at the entrance to the car park. No, it's not. It was at the entrance to the car park, but it's now down where the cars actually park. And then the last item, the bird hide will be repainted. Well,
Being done,
that's
yes.
done.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
It's Julian and his
That's
Okay.
Moving on to the dog and the marina.
yes, the outstanding one here, Councillor Franklin will speak to Harbour Marine Re, unwanted access to the site.
Yeah, I'll never work with them tomorrow.
Yep, that's great, so that's ongoing.
Yeah.
I think we're,
the dog walker
everything
recently.
from the Marine 2 contractors.
No,
Done
about 2
that.
months ago, I saw him sign up.
2 weeks.
But because of it's winter now and I don't walk at the normal time when he usually walks, I haven't seen him since. There's definitely a well-trodden path from that gate onto the main reserve.
Yeah.
That's the park where all the electric fence can go, if it's not keeping the cat control.
That brings back to the lot.
Okay then, thank you very much. Date and time of next meeting, Monday the 2nd of March.
Ken, do you want these?
No,
Oh, you don't?
no. No, I laminated the map so that they would last a bit longer.
Yeah.
Why don't you take them back?
Yes, I
Very
will
useful.
hang on to them.
I'll hang on
Yes.
to them if you.
Yes.
And bring them up next meeting.
Yeah, and I'll bring them to every meeting, yes. I'll have you do it that way.
And thank you very much for all you
Yes,
do.
Brilliant.
I'll see you tomorrow.